Hey guys, so I hope that you are having a great evening. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sex. So I just wanted to get that out before I got started. Here's the thing. I have been seeing a lot of accounts on social media lately. So on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, that are all about helping women be more ladylike. And oftentimes, these posts make references to things like not allowing a man to split the bill with you, always expecting him to pay. There also talks about, your body and sexuality and not giving it away, and about the dangers of things like OnlyFans or what's the name of the online strip club? Demon Time is referenced in a Beyonce song. So, here are my thoughts on that. The thing that I have a problem with is that I have seen a lot of hate on these types of posts. There's all of this talk about, well, I always split the bill with a man because that way he doesn't expect anything. Or there's talk of, well, it's your body and you can do whatever you want to do. So you just be you and do whatever you want to do. Men do it all the time. Men sleep around all the time. So why do we make a big deal when a woman does it? Here's the thing. I work with women of faith. So about 85, 90% of my clients at any given time are Christian, just like I am. And then the rest of my clients tend to come from some sort of faith background. So they're Muslim, they're Hindu, um, they're Jewish. And the thing that all my clients have in common is that, when you grow up in conservative backgrounds, when you grow up, with a religious upbringing, there's all of this talk about like what you can and can't do involving sex. And I believe that that leads us to have some very messed up ideas when we grow up. So I want to break down some of these. One, we should talk about sex more often. We should talk about sexuality. We should talk about sensuality because those are different things. Sensuality is feeding into the senses. So that is your sight, your touch, your hearing. Um, why am I drawing a blank on your five senses right now? But you guys get what I mean. And we should taste. So we should talk more about sensuality and enjoying pleasure. So we should talk about how great it feels to get a massage or to have a nice hot bath. We should talk about how great it feels to like eat really good food and how great it tastes. Stopping to smell the flowers, like enjoying having flowers in your apartment or your house so that you can see them. Enjoying just like great artwork. We should talk more about sensuality. We should also talk about sexuality. I believe this on some very practical levels. If we talk more to children about those things, obviously in an age appropriate way, but if we're doing that, then that allows, children to feel more comfortable coming to us when situations like sexual abuse or harassment are happening. So I do think that we should set that tone at younger ages in all of our households. Also, because we don't talk about these things, they lead to some very serious hangups. So, one of the things that I see a lot, and I can't necessarily speak for everyone in this, but I know, especially with Christian women, is I see Christian women getting into situations where they get married, and because they were so uncomfortable talking about sexual situations before marriage came, that marriage comes, and then when the topic of having sex with your partner comes up, it gets really uncomfortable. It doesn't happen. Neither partner is happy because there's so much fear in even talking about it. We need to normalize these conversations. We really and truly do. Now, in general, this idea of having a more permissive culture and, you know, more women being more free about promiscuity since the pandemic started. Things like OnlyFans have popped up. If you are not familiar with OnlyFans, it's basically an amateur porn account, is what it is. Um, you can start your account, post your own videos, and people pay to see your videos. So I have two minds of this. One, the fact that people are more free to talk about it, the fact that people are more free to like write songs about sex, the fact that these conversations happen, I think is a good idea. I also don't believe in slamming other women who talk about sex, who write about sex, any of that, because that's on them. And yes, we should be free to express ourselves how we want. Here's the problem I have. Do you know your motives? Do you know your whys? Because for me, the reason why I don't subscribe to the idea of sleeping around with multiple men, the reason why I don't subscribe to the idea of constantly posting really sexual images on social media, the reason why I don't personally do those things is because of a respect for my body. And this is how I feel like I respect my body. So when I was single, this wasn't a matter of like, I'm so much better than all these men, therefore I'm not going to sleep with them. It's a matter of I respect my personal space and I respect who I allow into my personal space. Therefore, I'm not sleeping with every man I date. It's a matter of knowing that soul ties are real, so that it's not just the physical consequences of sex. People talk about sex as it relates to getting pregnant, having babies, contracting an STI. And yes, those are important things to talk about. Again, I believe we should be talking to young women more about things like birth control and about protecting yourselves from STIs and all that. Um, because we all know that when we were younger, we made mistakes. I don't believe in turning one mistake into two mistakes. That being said, sex is more than a physical act. Soul ties are real. They are real, they are strong ties, and they take some time to break. So, when we are having these conversations about your decision to be a virgin until you get married, your decision to be celibate, or your decision to have sex with a partner, I do not want you reducing it to either of those attitudes. Like, I have to be so pure because otherwise my worth isn't as much, because that's not true. I also don't want you going on to the other end of like, well, who cares? Like, men do it all the time, so whatever. Take these matters seriously and really think about like what you believe. Really feel into how you want to be treated and really feel into what the consequences are for you. When we talk about faith, um, I was forced to be a Christian at birth. You know what I mean? My parents made me go to church, so I didn't really like have a choice in that matter. When I got older, I took some time away from church and I explored, other faiths. I spent some time not doing anything religious. I minored in religious studies in college. So I explored Judaism and Islam and Hinduism. And I came back to being a Christian. In that time, I came to the belief that the Bible is instruction for practical living. This is one of my problems with there not being more women of faith, influencers of faith on social media, because I think church is great. I really do. I come from a pastoral family. You know, my dad's a minister, my brother's a minister. There are a lot of people in my family that are ministers. At the same time, what does not happen in the pulpit is a lot of more practical talk. So for me and my faith, when it came to relationships, what I learned from what I read, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That what I focus on is what I get more of. As a man thinketh, so is he. Um, that I'm chosen and that I'm special. This led me to look at relationships in a different way because it's not just about sex. And I know I said that earlier, but it's not just about sex. So there are these decisions about your body and respecting your body and believing that your body is a temple. At the same time, you also need to be having these discussions with yourself in your journal time and your prayer time and your meditation time about how respecting yourself is also respecting your mind and respecting your peace. So it's not just sex, it's also stating your boundaries about your personal space. It is also expecting to be treated well. Back to that idea of like not paying on dates. I'm sorry, but when I was single, actually, I'm not sorry. I don't even know why I said that. Um, back when I was single, anyone dating me was investing into me and not just money, they were investing time too. Um, so I don't, I did not feel guilty about expecting a guy to pay on a date. Like, why? Like, I know my value, I know my worth, I know the pleasure of my company, I know that my company is great. So you invest in that because I value myself, right? So it's not just your body, it's your time, it's your energy, it is your peace of mind. I have spent a lot of time this year getting rid of people who just stress me out. And I don't need any other explanation for why they don't need to be in my life. They stress me out. Who cares? I don't need anything else to justify the decision to not allow them to be in my life. So when you're having these conversations or when you're seeing certain posts on social media, it's true that society is more permissive now than ever. It is so true that as a woman, you can do anything that a man does. You can play the game exactly like a man does. No one's going to blame you for that, honestly. But I'm asking you, why? Why would you want to do that? I'm asking you, what are your standards? How do you believe that you should be treated? And are you living up to those things? How do you respect yourself? And not just in terms of your body, but how do you respect yourself in terms of your mind and your emotions as well? How do you expect other people to respect your body, your mind, and your emotions? So please stop thinking that you need to sleep around because I was going to say a word that I shouldn't say. Stop thinking that you need to sleep around because certain people on social media tell you that you need to. At the same time, make sure that your decisions to not allow certain things in a relationship or to not allow certain things on dates come from a place of respect for yourself. Also, not because some clergy member or your parents or whoever told you to. Know what respect means for you. And then from that place, set those boundaries and set those standards. So I will talk to you later, but let me know what you think of this video, what you think of what I've said. I understand that this is a sensitive topic, so I don't expect any comments on this video. I honestly don't. Um, but feel free to DM me and let me know what you think. And really take some time to think about what respecting you means, um, not just in terms of sex, again, but also mentally and emotionally as well. So I will talk to you soon. I love you so much. Bye.